Boom shakalaka, what's going on everyone? Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, I'm joined by veteran trader Bill Noble from the Token Metrics team. Now already this year, Token Metrics has predicted Helium, Matic, Chiliz, Audius, Illuvium, Solana. In this video, Bill's going to share with us the next altcoins to keep your eye on. Plus, he's going to plot out how Ethereum is going to get to $12,000. And guys, if you haven't tried out Token Metrics yet, there is a discounted link down in the description and the pinned comment, so you'll definitely want to check it out. Stay tuned. What's up, everyone? I am joined by Bill from Token Metrics. What's going on, Bill?
Randall, how you doing, man?
Dude, I am stoked, amped, just about as happy as a guy could be. You are so much fun, and I can't wait to pick your brain today. Tell me, what's new in your world?
Well, on personal life, I got when girlfriend sorted out. I don't know how much you want to talk about that.
You're gonna break so many hearts. Oh my gosh. It's because of the shirt, isn't it?
Oh, it totally is, man. It's the BTC Miami wardrobe that put me over the top.
Dude, congrats.
Thank you. And then I think for the crypto front, we got to wade through the FUD, but we're getting ready for what I think is going to be one last mega push higher. So it's kind of like close your eyes and put up your FUD shield and then hang on and, buy the dip.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It is looking very, very exciting. And I've actually been I've been a little bit of stalking you on Twitter at crypto_noble, where anybody could go and follow you. Now you do some old school charting, like pencil charting. Yeah.
Yes.
What's the benefit of that?
Well, the benefit is you get to really experience it, right? In other words, you can watch and say, wow, here was the breakout above the line, or, oh shit, it got rejected. When you chart it by hand, it gives you a whole depth of understanding, and the GAN stuff by hand is like the pure stuff. It's different from when you do it on a computer, right? So I like to do it it's like my hobby. Some people draw pictures. I draw charts.
They look really awesome. Do you go in and find out the high and the low and kind of put that on graph paper?
CoinMarketCap has it. I keep it in a spreadsheet. Then I print out the latest information. I mean, dude, it's so old school. It's ridiculous. It's like Fred Flintstone dinosaur stuff. But, I was told that, no one's ever going to look at this. And it's how I actually learned crypto. Like ex-Goldman guys called me up and said, oh, Bill, you were like the crisis volatility guy in equities. Can you tell us about crypto? I'm like, shit, I don't know anything about crypto. So I'm like, all right, let's get out the graph paper and start drawing it, start learning it, right? Like one thing I learned, like before ETH takes off, it'll do this like completely sideways stuff. I drew the whole history going back. I started in like 2017. So when you draw it, you pick up things.
That's really cool. Yeah, I never would have thought that. So then you can just, when you start to see that, you pick up those patterns and you'd be like, uh-oh, it's about to rocket.
Yeah, you draw angles, you draw stuff. I mean, I think the best story I've got about that is the ex-Goldman guy who called me up and said, hey, take a look at this. His son is now in the business as a crypto analyst. And since I got a cartoon image of me up there, he didn't realize it. And he said I was his favorite technical analyst on Twitter, not knowing I was his dad's friend.
No way.
So yeah. There's an audience out there that really digs it. I had a hedge fund guy says, you're the only technical analyst I follow on Twitter. Who knew?
That's awesome. And I mean, who knew is the people on OpenSea, because I see there's now a notorious BILL on there. Huh?
Right. I have an artist who, drew the notorious Bill. She actually created the persona, because I'm not exactly a slim, skinny jeans kind of guy. I've got the notorious BIG build. And she's like, dude, congratulations. You're now notorious.
That's awesome.
So I bought the Versace sunglasses and the gold chains and everything.
Oh, heck yeah. Bitcoiners being it for the technology, yo.
That's right. That's right.
Now, okay. So we're going to talk about this market pumping, but first thing we need to talk about how spot on Token Metrics has been with like every call this year. So let's go through them. We got Matic, like going up insane. We have Helium going up insane. Just recently, Audius, you guys have been talking about this forever, just rocketed off partnership with TikTok. So like, yeah, spot on picks this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're rocking it from both the human analysis and our AI, right? Our AI picked up Solana and, Axie Infinity at like 15. So, yeah, I mean, Audius, we've been pounding the table on, like that valuation compared to what Apple was when iTunes launched and Spotify was pre-IPO. I mean, Audius could go to 10. So we've been pounding the table on that, as you noted. And then our AI is picking up, some of these like recent, moonshots. So, yeah, I mean, we're always grateful when we get it right, right? It's not assumed that, the crystal ball is not always clear. So when it is, we're grateful and we always look forward to helping people at tokenmetrics.com.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. I've been having a blast with it. I just listen to you guys and I buy a little bit of the projects and then I'm always like, oh, I'm so glad I listened to them.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I'm helping you makes it even better, right? Helping people. If you meet a technical analyst in a $3,000 suit, you should run the other way. A technical analyst wants to help the people. That's you, your viewers, our viewers and readers. So I'm glad to have that happen.
You're definitely doing it because I made a video about Audius like a month ago and got a whole bunch of people saying thank you so much for that video. And that video is 100% due to Token Metrics. So thank you guys.
All right.
Yeah. So now you talked earlier about how we might have a FUD storm coming before the second wind, the second half of this bull run.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this?
Okay. So there's a lot of FUD to go around. SEC is on the tapes today saying, they're trying to get special authority from Congress to regulate DeFi. I don't think I'd get upset if the SEC stopped rug pulls. I think, there's something going on in China. Their overall banking system is very leveraged, which relies on people's ability to borrow money. And the virus over there is, it's a little bit shaky, right? Stock market recently pooed the bed because Toyota had to shut down production or reduce production because of a chip shortage. So, this stuff, is FUD, it affects equities. The dollar is stubbornly high, probably because of stress in the financial system. So even though the economics lecture may not resonate, the FUD, I believe, for the moment is temporary. I mean, if we were in October or Rocktober and getting this kind of FUD, I'd be like, yeah, because equity market seasonals have worked in crypto, right? Sell in May and go away, come back for the summer rally in late July. And then, you can have Rocktober where, you've had every equity market event going back a long time. So, but for the moment, crypto between now and October, that's like an eternity, especially if you look at the moonshots and NFTs.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on with NFTs. Now, I mean, what type of when you think of a second peak, because we hear varying things from like 6 digits, all the way up to 500,000, things like that. Do you guys take a look at that? Do you have thoughts on for Bitcoin and for other altcoins?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin is going to take a shot at 54K, 55. And I think that's just going to be one big green all at once move, right? Bitcoin's like winding it up. I see an outside chance that Bitcoin could extend itself to like 89 or 90K. So that would be like my mega moonshot target. I think it's more likely that there's a melt up in alts, believe it or not, like a lot of late cycle stuff. Now it could be occurring in NFTs where there's no short seller, but I think a lot of DeFi stuff that's grounded overseas, like Sushi or Aave, Rune or Perp, those kind of coins, along with Solana. I mean, Solana could go to 250. If whatever Binance coin could do, Solana could do.
Mm-hmm.
So, the moonshot may be in alts.
Oh, that would actually be pretty interesting if we saw alts move without a Bitcoin move. That would definitely change the whole scenario. Because I was looking at this chart today. I just saw it for the first time. Crazy chart. So it takes a look at the golden ratio chart. And so it takes a look at the peak in terms of Fibonacci extensions. And so this we actually just bounced off of the 3 fib level. And before that, it was the 5 fib, and then the 8 fib, and the 13 fib, and the 21 fib. So I'm like, could that have potentially been the top? Now, I hope it's not, but I mean, that stuff could be crazy.
Well, I mean, if 64 or 65 was the top in Bitcoin, that probably just makes the case for a massive ETH-driven alt ramp, right? I mean, I think Bitcoin's 55, 56 once the FUD storm's over. 89, 90 would be nice. But I mean, if Bitcoin's at 89, 90, you've got an across-the-board melt-up in alts, right? I don't think one has to rally at the expense of the other necessarily. But if Bitcoin doesn't make a new high, it just means the rest of the space is going to pump even harder. Now, whether that's NFTs, DeFi, I think it's a combination. I think you're going to have to pick 2 or 3 coins in each sector in order to catch it. And you're going to have to be really brave on the dips and deal with the choppiness, because that's what crypto does, right? Crypto shakes you out, right? Either drops 20%, scares you, or it's like up, down, up, down, up, down. Oh, I'm bored. I'm stopped out, whatever. And then boom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, I'm curious. So I just listened to this book about Charlie Munger. And so, everybody, when they talk, not everybody, but a lot of people, when they talk about investing, they talk about diversification. But that just kind of gets you the average market returns. Whereas if you concentrate on stuff, you can outpace the market. So I'm curious, do you have a feeling in terms of cryptocurrency, if there's, is it just because cryptocurrency is so volatile and has such a high risk reward ratio, is it better where you might just want to kind of diversify, or is it a targeted selection that you actually benefit from?
Okay, great question. So I think the hallmark of what we do at Token Metrics, and it's definitely going to be a major league part of Token Metrics 2.0 launching soon, is this idea where we come up with portfolios, right? Every day there's a new day trader portfolio, weekly and monthly, based on our grading system. So we do think having diversification makes sense. Yeah, we know it all moves at once, but it doesn't always move at once lately, right? So, Graph for oracles, there's Axie and maybe Rarible for NFTs. There's, layer ones like Solana, maybe AVAX and ETH. So we think crypto is maturing where you can divide it up into sectors, have a little bit of diversification and hope three of the four sectors moon, right? Because not everything moons all at once. And in a late stage bull market, it's not going to be like DeFi summer necessarily. You got to catch the moonshots. And if you got your portfolio set up right, maybe you'd have 1 or 2 huge winners, and that makes up for a couple that didn't work out.
Now that leads me to the next question, because we're talking about kind of like a end of the year rally maybe. And then I'm imagining that after that, we're thinking the price kind of retraces a bit. I'm trying to rack my brain. Like, what do you actually do other than just put it in a stable coin and hope that it does come down and you can buy again? Like, what options are out there? Are there, because, you could put it in gold, you could put it in other things. Like, what do you think about that?
Okay. Well, I mean, there's an old legacy motto that cash is king. So if you think it's going to get wrecked, stable coins, won't hurt you. If you got tax issues and don't want to sell stuff that's much, much higher than what you paid for it, there's always the idea of maybe borrowing against it. And then there's the idea of, because people don't always get this right. If you're worried it's going to go down later, you buy a put when it's mooning. That way the put option is cheap. You can get these things on futures exchanges. All right. Now, you don't buy the put once and if it starts going lower, because then you're probably going to get hosed and pay too much. I think if you're in a bear market, right, like you have 6 months of what we saw in May, I mean, stable coins are the thing. I have everybody saying, oh, yeah, well, what are you going to buy in the bear market? It's like, you know why they call it a bear market? You ever seen what a bear does to a human being or anything else that it doesn't like, right? Bears are not teddy bears, right? They have big claws and they're nasty. So if we're talking about bear market, GTFO, stablecoin.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And then some people talk about how we might be seeing like super cycles, or maybe we won't be seeing, because the bear market of 2018, 2019, 2020, I mean, a lot of alts went down 99%. Some of them never recovered. Right. So you think we're going to see the same type of thing, or you think it's going to be maybe not as bad?
Okay, well, I think the thing that hasn't happened to crypto that does happen in other markets is the bear market may be this like downward sloping consolidation. So it's like a P&L destruction event is what I call it. So it's like all the way down, not like down 40%. Oh my God, it's going to zero. Up 40%, it's going to the moon. Down 50%, it's going to zero. Up 30, 40%, right? In other words, when you have that kind of chop and people chasing stuff, that can be awful. It's awful for me to chart. And that's probably what happens to stuff like Bitcoin, right? I mean, if Bitcoin goes from 10,000 to 60 or 90, then there's probably a 6-month consolidation period with wild swings, right? Could be the virus, could be, geopolitical event, Afghanistan spills over into other areas. I don't know. I mean, who knows, right? China blows up because of the virus, etc. So the thing that people are probably not ready for, that they haven't seen, is that wild consolidation versus everything just simply going to zero.
Now, you mentioned the virus, and I saw you tweeted about that, how, if the virus continues, they may start printing money again. And you feel like that could actually be good for cryptocurrency.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question about it, right? Like, back to when girlfriend, she was a major in the Army as a nurse, hospital by day, fighting by night. She currently works in an emergency room here where I live in Texas. And, she also has a background in immunology. So without giving you the medical lecture, this thing is nasty. These variants are multiplying, and, you should wear a mask, but it may not help you with these variants. They get nastier and nastier. So this whole idea that the Fed comes out on the tape and is like, yeah, we're going to stop printing money like middle of next year. I'm like, whatever, dude. We may have a quarantine Christmas, right? They're going to have to put their foot on the pedal so hard, right? Particularly since the administration just got embarrassed with Afghanistan. What are you going to have? A massive event in Afghanistan that's all over CNN. So you got disaster porn there, virus disaster porn, and the stock market crash. Oh my God. No way. They're just going to print. They've been doing it for 13 years. And I think that's how, if you get a moonshot, that's how and why you get it. Like, the catalysts are out there for the Fed to have to go ballistic, even if they don't want to.
Yeah, they kind of have to. Are you concerned at all about some type of like depression type event?
I am in 2022, right? I think in 2022 somewhere, we're looking at 6 months of a crappy market. So it's all the more reason to dip your toe in the water and take your shot now. I don't recommend paying $1 million for an NFT of a worm necessarily, but I think, if you're going to take a shot, take it now, because there's going to be a disturbance in 2022. It's not going to be fun, right? But, you can still navigate it with stuff like RAI and some decent charts, right? Crypto is used to all the way up, all the way down. And then the surprise for 2022 is that you get a whole new form of price action.
Yeah, it's always going to be interesting. Like, what is the next move? Because last summer it was all DeFi. This summer it's all NFTs. Who knows what it's going to be next summer?
Right. You have no idea what the next moonshot is. It could be ETH. I mean, we have work that, we didn't wave it around. I mean, we have work that says if the dollar goes down, right now the dollar is being a pain in the butt, but if the dollar really does crack and go down, that ETH could go to 12,000, right? That's your YouTube JPEG, but the dollar has to go down, right? So the next big moonshot could be just this monster ETH move.
I think I'm going to edit you from the thing.
Right. Learning how to play the game more and more every day, man.
There you go. Yeah, that could be because I still am always blown away how little ETH actually moves for as much that's built on top of Ethereum.
Right. I mean, I think the government scared everybody. Our legal analyst at tokenmetrics.com came up with this thing where, even the compromise bills, left proof of stake coins vulnerable. Like proof of work, like Bitcoin, they're just going to leave that stuff alone. But if you're proof of stake, they could mess with you. So I think that's what put the brakes on ETH. Nobody seems to get that. So if the SEC and all that calms down and they leave ETH alone and the dollar goes lower, the whole ETH trade hasn't been done yet. So they're either going to do it, they're either going to do it now or they're going to wait for a dollar lower event. I don't know, even like a bear market rally. You got to remember, if it's a down market, you still had huge rallies in 2018 from time to time. So, ETH could be a one coin market the way Solana is kind of a one coin market, or at least it was for like 4 days. So, I know ETH is in its phase, like drawing it by hand where it bores everyone to death. I'm not buying that. You know what I'm saying? ETH 5,000 could happen like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And ETH 12,000 could happen like this.
Dollar has to go lower first, though. That's why we're not like waving the flag going nuts, right? Like we haven't gotten audience on ETH because the dollar, we got to get cooperation from the dollar.
So what's causing the dollar to be so high right now?
Okay, well, it's a good question. So succinctly, if you have a leveraged world like China, where people have a tough time borrowing money or borrowing dollars for whatever reason, right? If there's stress in the borrowing credit world, if they can't get loans, they go into the foreign exchange market and they just buy the dollars. They take their euros or their yen or whatever, and they just sell them to get the dollars to get liquidity. That sounds a little strange, I know. But when the dollar's going up and the stock market's going down, it means there's some sort of pressure in the system. And I know we're in crypto and we're like, the dollar is a safe haven. What? Fiat? All right. But in legacy, that's how it works. When everyone freaks out, they buy the dollar. When everyone is relaxed, they get out of the dollar and they get into international currencies to speculate in the international markets, because that's where like the big returns are. Lower dollar also helps US stocks, makes our goods more competitive. So, all right, that maybe was 3 or 4 sentences more economics than you needed, but dollar up is stress in the system.
Yeah. I actually just heard not too long ago that the dollar is actually the US's #1 export.
Right. Well, I mean, they're out of dollars in, a couple places in the world, like Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Good luck with an ATM out there. the dollar is the world's reserve currency. And, if you can't get your hands on Bitcoin, the default is get the dollar, right? I mean, that's how we get away with printing it and borrowing as much as we do, right? People want the currency. People have kind of walked away from our debt, but don't worry, there's the Fed there. All right. But, when in doubt, it's the dollar. By 2025, I think that's going to change. And that's when you get your mega ridiculous, YouTube upside targets for Bitcoin, because, can't get away with these shenanigans for much longer, particularly if, the Delta variant goes Brady Bunch and has 12 babies, right?
Yep. Yeah, because then you would run out of Greek letters, I think.
That's right. That's right. And people. Who knows? I don't know, man.
Okay. Last non-crypto question, just because I read this stuff and I just want to see if it can hold water. So the China buys a lot of US debt.
Right.
Or so I've read. Does the US printing money actually hurt China because it devalues their investment? Does it work that way?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, China owns a lot of US debt, a lot less, and they've bought, like the Russians and Chinese have just walked away. A lot of people don't notice, but the Fed buys most of what we issue. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the printing money process, where, the government's like, okay, we want to spend $3.5 trillion. So let's issue a bunch of bonds. Who's going to buy them? Jerome Powell. So we just, crank the press, hand the money to the government, they spend it. And the next thing you know, it's $9 for a pint of blueberries. That's how that kind of works. So I think the Chinese are they're kind of trying to get away from US debt, but they hold it. And the thing that's funny is because of the virus, even with inflation, rates are falling. This is what I keep telling people is good for crypto, right? Oh, there's all economic growth, and don't worry about the virus, and inflation is transitory. That means temporary, whatever. Okay, bonds should be collapsing under this environment, but they're not. They're rallying and rates are falling, which is great for crypto because everybody forgot that in 2018, one of the things that wrecked crypto was the Fed hiking rates. So if rates are down or stable, that's good for Bitcoin and crypto.
Because people can borrow and then buy crypto?
Well, yeah, or the Fed's just not trying to, there's not a force. I mean, crypto is a speculative force, right? And in the history of markets, when rates are rising, speculative forces, whether it's tech stocks back in 2000, when rates rise, speculative assets get hammered. And of course, what's more speculative than crypto, right? So if rates are stable to falling. I mean, there was a picture of Mike Novogratz on Twitter from vacation in the south of France, being like, oh, look at crypto. Crypto's higher and rates are falling, check it out. So Mike knows, right? He's like my hero in the market. So if you have rates down and you don't have something like SEC talking about regulating DeFi is FUD. Higher dollar and higher rates hoses crypto. So if you don't have that, it's cool.
All right. Well, that sounds good then. So back to crypto. What are you looking at now?
Okay, so we're looking at starting with the future of money. I'm looking at, Quant, and I believe it's Alchemy Pay, right? These payment systems for central bank digital currencies, like the dollar moves through the world, called a system called SWIFT. And, Quant, Coinbase alt went up 3x. So I actually think there could be more of that, and ACH may go. Solana has a shot at 200. For DeFi, I think you got to go with stuff that's firmly rooted overseas. I got this from Multicoin Capital. So Sushi, $2 billion market cap, I believe, super cheap, super underappreciated. Aave, right? Rune, Perp. Perp is another one we've been pounding the table on forever. Perp could go to 25, 40, and I can draw 100 long term. It's a derivatives exchange. So these are the things we're looking at. These are the sectors that we like to play in. You know, Axie Infinity might not be done, right? Rareable, like everyone's like chasing the actual NFTs, but the NFT tokens may still be underappreciated. Don't forget about what happens when, you know, the NFL and sports teams start returning to stadiums, along with the fact that college kids can make money off their likeness. So that's another NFT game that could take off. So that's how we're looking at the market, and those are some of the coins that we're focused on right now.
Awesome. And you're still doing your happy hours on Token Metrics TV?
Right. Token Metrics TV, every day I do the market update. So that's kind of like, the most tense 10 minutes in television where, we go from 10 to 15 minutes on charts, and then I give you a theme for what's going to happen next, kind of like what we just did in a more conversational format. We have Crypto Happy Hour. I'm going to have a new sidekick. So Crypto Batman is bringing up Robin for Crypto Happy Hour. I also do some work with our quant chief. So we do fun, we do conversation, we do rocket science.
That's freaking awesome. Anything else that people should know?
Well, stay with Crypto Love, stay with tokenmetrics.com, and, get while the getting is good. Don't say, oh, I missed it, right? There's always an opportunity in crypto. You just have to do a little bit of work to find it. Because if you sit here over the next, say, 30 days and you go, F it, I missed it, you really may miss it, because it may be like an alt meltup. So don't get discouraged, right? Be grateful for what you have and have confidence in yourself. You can do this, right? You got the tools. You got friends like me and Randall. Stay with crypto.
I think that's some great advice, because, like everybody, when they get in, they get burned initially. I think that's like part of trading. You need to learn your lessons, and you don't pay for it at university. You pay for it by investing and then losing money, but sticking with it and learning from that really helps you move forward.
Yes. I mean, if you sold the low and bought the high, you have something in common with every trader who's ever existed, including the ones that they write books about. I mean, it has happened to everybody. It hurts more when it happens to you, but it does happen. And as you said, the market is your teacher.
Absolutely. Well, Bill, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love the shirt. I can't wait to have you back again. I'm so happy about you and the lady. You're going to break so many hearts, I got to tell you.
Sir, it's always nice to be on your show. It's great to be here.
What's up, everyone? I hope you enjoyed that episode. It was a lot of fun. Thanks a lot to Bill and the Token Metrics team for getting that arranged. Guys, like I said, if you haven't checked out Token Metrics, 100% worthwhile checking out. I have made back many times my money from using Token Metrics to pick out awesome altcoins like Matic, like Illuvium, like Audius, and many, many more. So you'll definitely want to check out the platform. There's a discounted link down in the description and the pinned comment. I will catch you later. Peace.